If we can set aside our fears about some world power trying to attack us with storms or drought, what can we do to at least modify our own weather to prevent or alleviate droughts like the one we just had this past year?
Had it rained perhaps a month sooner, probably we'd have produced another 20 to 25% more crop, probably worth $500 million plus. It's easy to say that, but I don't think there's much doubt that the timing of rains is as important as the amount, sometimes in determining how much crop will actually be produced.
Ideally, weather modification is based on the fact that in a cloud, the temperatures are very low. The water droplets in that cloud, however, don't freeze like we see water freezing in a dish at 0 Celsius. They freeze only at much lower temperatures. In other words, water supercools. When it supercools, it tends to sort of choke up and does not readily produce rain. This is the common condition in any thunderstorm, any large cloud. A few ice crystals, however, do form in that cloud, do produce small snowflakes which grow very rapidly and fall out, melt as they come out of the cloud, and produce your rain. This is what happens when a cloud does produce rain. The argument is that those clouds that don't produce any rain in the summer or produce very little have had in them too few ice crystals form. So the essence of your weather modification technique as we know it today is to seed that cloud with very small particles that produce additional ice crystals.
Particles of what?
Particles of silver iodide has been the common thing used because it has a crystal structure so similar to ice that in effect it fools the supercooled water into leaving it as ice, you might say, and forming an ice coating on this silver iodide particle. Then it behaves just like an ordinary ice crystal, grows rapidly, and falls out of the cloud.
How is the seeding done?
Seeding has normally been done in the past few years at least, in most cases, by aircraft. Small flares are dropped into the cloud from above, or small rockets sent up into the base of the cloud from below. And these release, through burning, very large numbers of very tiny silver iodide particles. We do know they change the cloud. We do see the effect of additional ice crystals being formed in many clouds. What we're not yet fully certain of is that when this occurs, in most cases, is there more rain than would otherwise have fallen or not? And that's the key problem in weather modification at present. The areas where it does appear to work are mountainous areas where the storms are fairly stationary over mountain ridges and such. There's some evidence that cloud seeding there can increase the amount of precipitation. There's no evidence either in the American plains nor to date in the Canadian prairies that the seeding can actually increase our rainfall consistently.
Is that because of the cloud structure being so different?
It's because of the cloud structure being so erratic, basically, compared to any mountain-type storm system. The erratic nature of our thunderstorms in the summer is practically unmanageable from the point of view of a seeding program.
I guess we haven't gotten into it because we're not yet convinced that it is an entirely successful method of making it rain when it doesn't want to rain. Obviously, we would be concerned about finding means of doing that, as would every farmer. But I think the evidence has to be there, both scientific and just generally speaking, applied knowledge, to say that in fact it works. And I don't believe that that's been the case so far. Who knows? Maybe it will be in the future.
There's no really conclusive evidence that it would work, that it would succeed in producing more rain. Rain when the farmer wanted it, and not simply when the clouds might be present. So while more rain, certainly over the last 2 years, would have been of definite benefit to the crops in most parts of the province, in most parts of the summer, there's just no feeling that cloud seeding is successfully far enough along that we could rely on it for additional rainfall.
Are there any areas in North America that do use cloud seeding?
Yes, quite a few use it. Quite a few feel that what have they got to lose, sort of has been the approach. It doesn't cost much in terms of the yields of the crops. Take a chance and try it has been a tendency in many areas. On the other hand, one of the problems of this approach is that, as you can understand, anything that is a triggering type mechanism that tilts a cloud one way just at the time it's about to produce rain, it can also tilt it the other and produce less rain. And there have been so many examples of both results occurring that to this date we do not feel confident that we can definitely increase the rainfall in any circumstance and in any particular part of Canada by simply seeding the cloud.